How's it going, everyone? Kyle and Paul here with Newegg TV. Today we will be building an all-white system. Now this is something that has never been done before across the whole YouTube land, and I feel really proud of ourselves for thinking of this super original idea.
I do too. I mean, really, when it comes to content creation videos on YouTube, it's all about originality, and this is really something that's, as Kyle said, never ever seen anybody do anything like this. So I really want to give ourselves a big pat on the back for coming up with this project, coming up with this design, and we got a lot of cool hardware here to show with you guys as well. So
should be really good. Yeah. It's just nice to have a project of your own.
Okay, it looks like I'm in. Yeah, I'm in here. Okay.
Good. Okay, give me patch me through. Just put me on the screen.
Hold on a second. They got a double firewall here. This is this will be easy. Hold on. So give me a second here.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, stupid! You really think this ice is gonna stop me? My God, Jesus Christ, guys! What are you trying to hide?
I know exactly what they're trying to hide. They didn't want me to find out about this.
Really? All right, hold on. Wait. Done.
Yes. People of Newegg, I am quite displeased with the current goings-on. Paul and Kyle and all of the employees. Every single employee at Newegg needs to listen to this. I know what you guys are doing. You're trying to hide this white PC from me because you want to pretend that you were the first white PC ever. When you know, in fact, that Tech Syndicate did create the first white PC ever in the history of white PCs. So let it be known to you and all your subscribers. And all the people who watch Newegg that are not subscribed to Tech Syndicate know that we know who you are and we know what you're up to. We are watching all of you. Now, Paul, I'm going to allow this video to continue because you're building the white PC, but you know, you're not doing it the Wendell way. You didn't recolor, your components. You're using already white components, and I'm going to let that slide. I'm going to see how this pans out, but I wanted to make sure that everyone on this channel knows the Tech Syndicate built the first white PC ever. All right, have a good day. All right, close it. We're done.
All right, you're cut. All right. Oh crap! Yeah. How do I turn this? All right. This is serious.
Had some success with the Arctic Silver 5 and a little bit with the Cooler Master Ice Fusion as well, but really the lesson I learned that day was never run out of KY jelly.
Dude, I've been telling you that for years.
Yeah.
Always got to have some on hand. But you know, we got a little off topic there. But
yeah, sorry about that, guys.
So on with the build. But before we actually start building the system, why don't we go over the components that we'll be using?
Definitely. So Kyle, the genesis of this build really came about quite some time ago, and that was the first time that this little SSD came across my desk. This is an SSD by SK Hynix, which you might not be as familiar with if you follow SSDs, but Hynix is a NAND manufacturer. They actually make NAND and DRAM, so it makes sense that they would create an SSD as well, and I really liked the look of this one. Performance-wise, it's quite nice as well. It's 256 gigs, and it's got a SandForce controller in there, but it's a basic 2.5-inch form factor, and it's just super clean and white. And when I first saw this, I was like, hey, that would go really nice in an all-white build. So I set it aside and kind of had preparations in mind for it for some time once again, and eventually we saw this beauty, which is just to the right of that, and that is the Hall of Fame edition Geforce GTX 770 by Galaxy. So this is the all-white version. Not only is the shroud here with all the fans all white, but the PCB on the back is also all white, which is super sweet. It has a really nice look to it. You will notice probably throughout this build, I know we've been mentioning about how everything's white, but basically we have mostly white, and there's some black and silver highlights going on as well. So that is going to be our graphics card, and those were the two parts that I set aside immediately when they came in, because I was like, these are for the white build, and then from there we kind of built out choosing the rest of the components. So just to finish out the parts that are over here on my side of the desk, we have a Fractal Newton R3 white 1000 watt power supply. So as you can see, the housing, all white, very pretty. The cabling is black, however. Kyle has a solution for that over there, which we'll come to in just a moment. 1000 watts and 80 plus platinum, so this is a awesome power supply. I can definitely recommend it to anyone who's specifically if you're looking for a higher wattage, really efficient power supply. So we'll be showing you guys all the details of that, of course. Above that, we have our CPU cooler, which is the Silverstone Tundra Series TD02. And this is one of Silverstone's first, to my knowledge, entries into the closed-loop cooler market for CPUs, but it's a 240 millimeter cooler, and as you can see, it's got some white tubing going down as well as white fans. Again, black and whites as far as the overall color scheme goes, but also a very effective cooler, so we're going to be installing that as well, and that will be cooling our processor, which is up here, which is none other than the Intel Core i7-4770K, which is, of course, the best processor that you can get on this particular platform, LGA 1150.
And over on my side here, we have the motherboard. This is a Z87X UD3H from Gigabyte. It's a pretty awesome motherboard. It's got the ultra durable 5 Plus right over there. It's got a lot of USB 3.0 connectivity as well as SATA 6G.
A question for you, Kyle, as far as your choice of motherboard there. I noticed it is not white.
Correct. And the way I saw it was that it was kind of hard to find an all-white motherboard without, you know, cheating and painting one.
That's true. We were on the verge of going with the ATI, made an all-white motherboard, gosh, many years ago. However, that might have made the system a little bit outdated.
True.
Also, it looks like it's splattered with blood. But check out ATI white motherboard, you can see that, and let the motherboard manufacturers know whether or not you think they should start producing all-white motherboards. But
I think they should.
It could be cool.
It would be really cool. So there are a few blue accents on the heat sinks there, but all in all, it's going to mesh pretty well with the overall white look of the build.
I think it'll look good.
Black is always pretty neutral. We've got some sleeved cables here from Silverstone. We've got an 8-pin CPU connector cable. We've also got an ATX 20 plus 4-pin connector, and we've got our PCI Express cables right here. These are sleeved really nicely. Kind of remind me of the BitPhoenix one. There's no heat shrink that's being shown at all. It's a very nice job. This is kind of like a fabric material as well. It kind of looks like a shoelace, and they're very flexible, so they should be very fun to build with. As far as memory goes, we've got 2 of these 8 gig kits from Corsair. This is part of their Vengeance line of low-profile memory sticks. So we've got 4 4-gig DIMMs, and they are clocked at 1600 megatransfers per second, and these are also the low-voltage models at 1.35 volts. And lastly, kind of the main event, one of the main events here is the Fractal Design Define R4. This is a really awesome case, and they also make it in white, so we thought it was just appropriate to go with the all-white version.
This is also the windowed side panel.
And it has a window.
Because you're building an all-white system, people should probably be able to see what's inside.
You want them to know it.
All right, so what do you want to start on, Kyle? You want to... How about I'll be the management and you be the labor?
Okay, that sounds fine. That sounds... Okay.
And we are finished. And just like that, the white build is all assembled. And as you guys can probably tell, it's mostly white. There are some black, a little bit of blue, a couple of red highlights in there as well.
There's a blue case fan.
LEDs. There's a blue LED case fan, which I'm going to fix.
We didn't know it was going to be blue.
We didn't realize it had blue LEDs. I'm going to be clipping those, so don't worry about that. So we did want to show you guys the system up and running, though. Also, one quick thing before I forget. I mentioned at the beginning that there is a white motherboard that exists. There's actually a couple of them, but the one that is most recent and was a real motherboard is actually a Sapphire motherboard, not an ATI. It's the Sapphire PI-A9RX480. Came out in 2005. It does use an ATI chipset, the ATI Radeon Express 200 chipset, and that was a socket 939 motherboard, so great for your FX60 processors from back in the original run of FX processors. But anyway, this build itself was a lot of fun to put together, I think, and I'm super happy with how it turned out, actually.
Me too.
It was a bit of a crapshoot when it comes to certain things, but there are some elements that we need to talk about here, because with any build, there's going to be things that happen which might work and some might not. I'd say the biggest thing when it comes to compatibility with this that we realized was that the thicker Silverstone cooler that we're using would not have fit. It wouldn't have had quite enough clearance, particularly up here near the memory and some of the heat sinks up there on the motherboard. So what we actually did was used a couple offset brackets that ship with the Antec Cooler 1250 closed-loop CPU cooler. I've got a couple of those over there. So that we use those to offset the cooler to position it a bit closer to this side of the case. And that gave us enough clearance to get everything in there.
And even with that, there's the edge of the CPU cooler, of the radiator, I should say, is actually touching the heat spreaders on the memory.
It's right up
making
against
contact. So any less than that, it probably would have been out of luck.
Yeah. So for anyone out there who sees this build and thinks it's super awesome and wants to build it themselves, bear that in mind. You might need to do a little bit of work. Another option we could have done is to re-drill some holes in the top to shift that cooler over, which might have given us a bit sturdier thing, but our goal with these builds usually is to go with off-the-shelf parts and to do as little modification as possible, unless we're doing a mod-specific video. A couple other things you might have noticed. We had a couple SATA cables we were considering. This one here, which was just a bit too creamy, I think, for our taste. So we actually went with an Asus SATA cable, which I think is the only Asus part that's in this build. But that's you can see that with the SSD, which we mounted up towards the top, up there. But I don't know if you can see both of those right next to each other.
I usually like when things are creamy, but not my SATA cables.
Yeah, so this one was a little bit too off-white for us. We went with the Asus one, and it has white on the end of each SATA plug, so that looked pretty nice too.
I did also want to point out that we are using an Asus SATA cable right there.
Yeah.
So there's your Asus representation for this system. Didn't forget about you guys.
Yeah, yeah. And apologies to any of our Gigabyte reps who are cringing right now. It's okay, you guys. You're friendly competitors, right? Okay. Apart from that, Kyle did some custom sleeving down on the bottom for some of the cables. Don't look too closely at it, but it turned out okay. That is a combination of tape and zip ties. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Steve, we told you not to look too closely at it, and Steve zoomed
back
all
up,
the way.
Steve.
That's okay.
Back up, Steve.
All right, that's
I called
better.
you Zeev.
That's better.
Good old
From
Zeev.
a distance, it looks just fine, and we're even. I usually don't use tape inside a case because the heat will generally reduce the adhesive to dust, and then it will stop working. But with the zip ties to hold it on, I'm sure it will do just fine. Any other little things we did with this? Oh, we did Velcro the SSD again. We went with it on the side panel because we thought it would stand out very nicely against the black noise dampening padding that's on that side panel, and I think it looks quite nice right there. Also allowed us to hide the cable, since you might also notice we removed all of the drive cages from the front here. We are still going to be including those for whoever might win this, but that's another good point, actually. What's going to happen with this system?
Well, first off, we're actually putting it on display at our Eggies Awards ceremony in Las Vegas in January. That's kind of going on during CES.
It's a fairly exclusive event, but if you happen to stop by, you can take a close-up look at this one.
Indeed. And then after that, we're actually giving it away to one of you guys.
Definitely.
So stay tuned for that as well.
And apart from that, we're just going to stare at it for a while.
It's pretty pretty.
So beautiful.
Yes. Oh, also I did want to point out what Paul's idea for the cable management right here. He actually decided to string it through the top grommet over there. That way it could actually pull up on the card just a bit, so that in case it sags in the future, it kind of gives a little bit of retention there.
Yeah, whenever I see a video card that's been installed for a while that starts to droop, it always hurts me a little bit inside. So hopefully with them actually being routed up and it has a little bit more support there, any potential droopage could hopefully be prevented. Yes.
Yep.
Very nice. So that is going to wrap it up for this video, though, you guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed building this system. If you're interested in more custom builds or themed builds, whether you're talking about a color or a specific use case or anything like that, we want to hear your feedback. So leave us a comment down in the comment section. Let us know what type of unique build you would like us to put together, and we will endeavor to bring that to you.
Yep. That's gonna do it for now, guys. Thank you all for watching. Let us know what you guys think of this build in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video.